got another matchup for you tonight. However, we also got another caster for you tonight. Give it up for Magni. What is up, Magni? How's it going?
Going good, man. I didn't think I'd be here ever. I just don't think I would cast COD, and now I'm here. But
Well, that's
I'm sorry
dude,
to
what? That,
disappoint
what?
everybody,
You'd be here
but
ever.
I
What are you
am.
talking about? I'm
I
glad you're
just
here.
I just don't talk a lot. But also I know there's some people in chat. I know it's probably looking like a little weird. Yes, I do have a shirt on. I'm sorry to disappoint all of you.
Dang it, dude. I had money on that too. I had at least 3 nickels on it. But yeah, it's going to be our first time commentating together, and it's going to be our first time also commentating. We're going to have Phoenix versus Toronto tonight, and so I'm super excited to get into this next matchup. Were you able to catch any of that first matchup that we had?
I saw Jonesy going crazy in the S&D, and then I was kind of getting ready to stream and stuff. So, I mean, I did catch that S&D. Jonesy went crazy. I did catch a little bit of the hard point. Who knows? There might be a scandal out there. I'm not gonna say too much.
There may or may not be a scandal out there. Whatever. We don't know what we don't know. Am I right? But let's talk about this match going forward. I'm going to go ahead and transition on over to the map rotation. It's going to be our first time really seeing these teams play together in this setting. A lot of these teams played in the open qualifier. However, we're officially into league play now. This is going to be our last matchup of the week. Sad tears, but which is nice because then tomorrow we'll watch CDL, we'll decompress, and then we'll get back into the real league, the LSL. And I'm excited to see more matches next week. But first, let's talk about this map set. Have you had a chance to really play the game? What do you think about the map so far this year?
So, I mean, the maps are overall good. They kind of got rid of some of the like really bad hardpoint maps, like Raid getting out of the rotation makes it a lot easier to not have an auto veto for every team in the league because nobody wants to play Raid because the spawns are so bad. But besides that, like I feel like Double Scar in the series is going to be a really good map, especially how these teams match up. Remedy, I guarantee you he's going to be sitting top green. If you're not looking top green for Remedy, you're playing the map wrong against him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll figure out how this all lays out. I'm super excited to see the Raid Search and Destroy. The Raid Search and Destroy was a banger last series. However, the map I'm most excited for is going to be a Blackheart on Hardpoint. I think we have a lot of AR heavy maps, even though the Dravik's probably the best gun in the game right now. We have a lot of AR heavy maps. So it'll be really cool to see like 3, maybe 4 subs a team pop out in that Blackheart, see a lot of really fast gameplay. I don't feel like what I said was a hot take. So.
Yeah, no, but Blackheart's a bang out though. It's one of the it's the Bokage of this game. It's just gunfight after gunfight after gunfight, and you either get spawn trapped or you're just fighting around hill all map.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's kind of like similar like Skyline last year, where it's nice to have a bang out map, right? You have a lot of really open lane maps, I feel like, that are super balanced for ARs and subs to work up on the map, but this feels super sub heavy, and I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on the AR players, because I think there is going to be a skill gap on knowing when to swap weapons. How much of a flex are you? How diverse are you going to be on the map? And I think a map like this is a great place to show that.
I think the AR, like on either team, whether it be Remedy or Hybrid, they have a really big chance to impact at least a decent amount of game on the P3 hill, because if you get pushed back P5, you have P3 hold, you have somebody up in P1, you can just hold an AR at some heady in P3 and watch P4 cross, and most of the time get a kill. So that's really where the ARs are going to have to be impactful, but it's also going to help your flexes be able to be like, okay, I can pull out a second AR or the first AR and kind of pace the map a little bit and kind of slow it down a little bit, but then be able to pull back out that sub and just start running.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see how it all plays out. I'm curious to see how these two teams kind of pace each other throughout these different maps. Just getting some information from some players right now, making sure that they're ready or not. Some of you guys don't know, but I'm actually doing production as well as commentating, so it's been super fun.
Yeah, I can never.
Okay, dope. Yeah, it looks like they are going to start out. I'm just ready to get into this map, number one. I'm ready to watch some more Call of Duty. I honestly, I really enjoy watching this game specifically. I feel like there's a lot of really cool elements to it. There's a lot less cheese this year, even though there is wall jumping. I feel like the cheese is a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes it to where, like, if you're good at movement, there is a true skill gap without having to pull out the, like, cheese. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes it to where, like, natural, like, movement talent is rewarded in this game instead of, being able to cheese against it or cheese doing it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I really like the addition of the wall jump with the omni movement. There's some pretty cool tricks that you can do with like spinning yourself onto the wall and stuff like that, and like constantly just changing directions. What seems like midair, I feel like it provides some pretty cool moments, and I feel like it's honestly pretty balanced as well. I feel like when you're in the air, there's a lot of risk. So it's kind of nice to see like a risk reward element added back to the game since we've kind of removed jetpacks. Since we moved jetpacks, we haven't really had that with movement. We haven't really had like a risk reward element to a game.
Yeah, I mean, because you look after all the jetpacks and stuff, and it's really been like Cold War boots on the ground type like gameplay. And this is the first time where a lot of players who are good at like IW and AW are kind of starting to show that like difference in talent again because it caters more to their play style. Even though they've had to adapt over the last like 3 or 4 years without jetpacks, they still make it work.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I feel like AW is a really good comparison to these games because with how the thrust worked in AW, you were stuck in the air. As soon as you double tap that A button, you were there.
you were just like, hey, shoot me.
Yeah. But yeah, do you have so I guess the first time I've really talked to you, what do you feel about the new game type now we have Overload as a new third game type?
I kind of wish they would have just brought back like true uplink, but like make it to where, because like you could have put wall bounces to the score, and so you still would have had the chance to dunk and get 2 by wall jumping it in, and it would have been able to be like, oh hey, this mechanic is so useful for comp. But then also you can just throw it in for 1, just like uplink, or it kind of seems like it's trying to mix uplink with blitz back from like Ghost. And it just like Blitz was fun to watch, but Blitz was chaotic playing it, and not a lot of people liked it. So I don't know why they brought any aspect of that back.
I actually really like Blitz. I wish what they would have done. I think a really good way. I think maybe creating walls next to a capture zone might make the map feel a little bit strange, or you might have to put the goal in a pretty like difficult position. Honestly, when we were talking about it last series, I was talking with Graf. We brought up the idea of possibly just like creating like a cylinder that's basically like on the ground where you can dive into it or you can throw it in, and it's pretty easy to defend because I think the defensive element is what made uplink even more entertaining. And I think having something stationed on the ground like that's a little tall, I think would do really, really well.
Yeah, because if you just going off of that, like if you have it to where like you just have somebody standing in front of it, it's the same thing that they did in IW when they would jump to block people trying to fly into goal. Yeah. And so it would bring that same aspect to it. So I mean, it's definitely would be better than just an EMP going into a highlighted zone.
Yeah, and it looks like we are hopping into this game number 1 here. Toronto is going to be your red side, and Phoenix is going to be your blue side. We're hopping right into the hard point on Scar. Pretty exciting.
4 up, 4 down right off the rip. Each player gets to know the route in a second. I mean, at this point, I think Toronto is more trying to work the spawn trap as they get broken.
Yeah, I mean, this rotations for early P2 is going to be super, super important. I'll be curious to see how these players start to rotate over to this hotel side. I want to hop on board with Biru, as Biru is going to be kind of already getting ready to get set up top. Going to get the kill, however, does give up a little bit of map position there. They are going to get stuck down low. And yeah, they are going to go ahead and fall really tight through the P1, and it looks like we're going to have a really hot contested P2.
Yeah, there was actually a really big play there made by, I think it was number 4. They wrapped through blue, because if you don't know, blue spawn actually gets you closer spawns to P2, because if you get green spawn, you spawn behind green. And so it's purple for the first 15-20 seconds from blue side, and then rotate to blue side.
Yeah, I actually really like holding blue side on this P2 side. I just feel like there's so much ground that you can see, especially with the AIR, so they can get a lot of cover fire. And I feel like, just like what you said, on that green side, there is an awkward spawn that kind of spawns you like super deep in the green. Like if you can kind of get somebody towards the other side of this hotel here and will still holding blue, you'll get pretty much spawn them on P3 instead.
Yeah, it's almost like the similar spawn for P5 for that L Hill and Green. It's really close to that same spawn, and so you really have to have somebody pushed up into red there. But as we see, like they're fighting for P3 rotation. It's a 2-for-1. Tavi going huge in the back on a 5 spree gets them blue side for P3.
Yeah, we'll hop back right over to Tavi here in just a second. I wanted to see how those initial rounds of Slave went out. Player gets ripped off the head glitch. Tavi doing a really good job with the info that they have. Gonna opt to get to the point. Gonna look to pick up one more kill to get the streak. Not gonna get the streak. Probably another 2 seconds away of holding point, or at least getting a kill from getting that cruise missile. Or that Hellstorm. It's called a Hellstorm. Okay, whatever. They change it every year.
Yeah, I mean, they just can't they just can't make up their mind on anything. But going into this P4 rotation, like it's like Toronto already has front blue pushed out almost into red, and they just don't check the credit at first. Sullivan gets the trade, but then he got to check the other credit.
Yeah, I really like that play from Toronto. Kind of played two different off angles, really catching this Phoenix team off guard, coming out of the hotel. Yeah, you get the trade off of the one side, but the other person playing the off angle on the other side closer to P1. Yeah, you're just able to get a couple of really good slays there and some time off of it as well.
Yeah, with them being pushed up that far, the first 15 seconds of the hill wasn't even contested. It was just they got, even when they died, they spawned close back blue, and it's just, I don't, it kind of just looks like a slam right now. 2-13, like, the Phoenix has to pick up the flame before they start worrying about rotations. Like, they got to win a few gunfights.
Yeah, and speaking of the 2-13, it's now 3-13. We're going to hop on board with CV. Just kind of give them a chance to look at their POV back again. And as we swap Caster's Curse, more like Caster's Blessing, they're finally able to pick up a few kills. They are going to eventually fall, but 140-36 going into this next hard point. It's going to be super, super difficult to come back now if you're Phoenix. Phoenix is going to start turning on the magic right now and really get going.
Yeah, I mean, they had back green spawn, and then 5 seconds into hill, Toronto just breaks it and then collapses on hill. They're getting to hill like on new and getting rotations, but they're not getting set up and they're getting immediately broken.
Oof. Yeah, and they are getting a couple of good slays now. I think their gunnies are starting to look a little bit warmer, but I think it might be, I mean, if you give them the rest of these 30 seconds, I think it might be a little too late. They're going to be almost at the 200 point mark, and you haven't hit 50 yet. You've got to start buttoning up these spawns. Start getting these trades, getting these slays in the middle of the map, getting some good call outs, just collecting yourself as a team. You can't go, I mean, even if you are going to lose this first map, make it a tough one. Give your brain a chance to know that you could have won.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you're looking for more momentum going into map 2 than actually winning map 1. But right now, it's just the Tavi and Baruch 22 and 10, 20 and 10, like both double positive. It's hard to really do anything on a map when two players like that are taking over on one team.
Yeah, Zero just absolutely snapping on that player. Tavi going to get pushed up with the Dravik into this middle building on 10. And they're just going to try to play their life, not able to bust in. Really good players there. That kill feed is starting to turn a little blue. As they cross over the 60 point, they narrowed it down to a 100-point lead. Looking to cut that a bit more as the rotation over for P2 is going to start happening. I'm going to cut over to this number 4 arrow, RS. RS is going to be in and waiting for this P2 rotation on their side. Going to be down low. Going to be kind of at a tough angle. Gets a call out that there's someone tarp green. Oh, but man, they just get flanked.
Yeah, I mean, the way this map's going, this P2, like, they came back a little bit on the P1, but this P2 is crucial for the game. If you don't get a majority of this time at Phoenix, against Phoenix, you have to start worrying about letting them get over the 200-point mark. as I say that, Phoenix kind of breaks in, but there's not really an answer. There's always just one more Toronto Kryptic player just waiting to trade.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to stay hovered around that 100-point lead and even possibly grow it with the rest of this P2. And right now, what I've seen from Toronto is really solid gameplay. They're playing super consistent on the map. You can tell they're definitely listening to callouts. RS is going to get burned a little bit there. Are they playing? Let's find out what's going on there. Possible disconnect. Controller, I'm just going to stay on board with this to make sure that the score is there if they do disconnect. Nope, they're playing now. No, maybe controller? Oh no, I guess we'll find out here in just a second. Yeah, there it is. The disconnect. 280. So we'll see if
I mean, honestly, I think if it's over 200, you just play it out.
yeah, I think so too.
I mean, not to be rude or anything, but even without the disconnect, the outcome is still the same. For Bruce Missile, from the side of Phoenix, it gets a lot, buys them some time, maybe lets them avoid the 100-point club. But as we say that, Brew just calls in a retaliatory streak, and it is way more affecting, wiping the rest of the members of Phoenix off the map. And then Tavi's just here for rotation. He's holding red. He gets hurt, he backs up. Does he know he goes behind satellite? This is a really tough pull of a sub, but it's just... That's just really hard.
Yeah, RS was able to join back up into the lobby right now, so it looks like, yeah, they are just going to finish out the map. I think that's part of the rule, too, is just join back up. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, right? I mean, it was already kind of out of control before that point with only 8 seconds left. It's going to be kind of difficult to make up that ground. Now, 3 seconds left, 2, 1, and that's going to be your first map. Good stuff from Toronto. Toronto looking super solid,
yeah.
Especially early on.
It's just like the point I was saying earlier is like every time Phoenix tried to break something or tried to make a play or tried to take a round, there was always just one more Toronto Kryptic player just insights to get the trade. And that was really the whole difference, is just the setups, is because they never really got broke because they were always just winning rotations and covering and trading.
Yeah. They did a pretty good job there. I'm going to try to go ahead and fix the sound as well. Post stats. So yeah, game number 1, pretty intense. Some points kind of hard to watch, but I mean, I guess we'll see how the Search and Destroy develops. I mean, we have seen it in a few series before where it feels like the team that wins the first map doesn't necessarily always win the Search and Destroy. I feel like there's a lot of players right now that have gotten so used to playing Search that their hardpoint or their overload just isn't up to snuff just yet. And I'll be curious to see if that's the case. I would hate to see a true mismatch. I do feel like Phoenix did have some good ideas on the map. They were able to play forward a few times, so we'll see if they can get it going even better on this next one.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly going to come down if Baru's shooting like he is in the respawns and the Search and Destroys, this is a DoorDash. And so, like, as Phoenix, you have to kind of step back and kind of alter your game plan a little bit. And when you see Remedy, you probably need to double chow for a little bit or play off angles. You can't just be sliding Baru. That's just silly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one, right? I mean, how are you going to stop a wall like that? And I just feel like with the momentum that goes into like rolling gunfights on a respawn mode, sometimes it's difficult to gain traction when somebody just is kind of frying. So sitting back, think about the next map, think about going forward. Not necessarily what you could have done better. I don't think right now is necessarily a good time to have a conversation about what just happened. your conversation needs about, okay, what's about to happen? How are we going to play this next map? What are we going to do to get our guns hot? And how are we going to communicate? Maybe there's a little bit of a hype talk in the chat. That's always something that goes over pretty nice. But yeah, I hope to see some clarity here from the people over on Phoenix as far as maybe just pulling it together a little bit, being able to react, play a little bit more as a team instead of getting on these crazy one-on-one gunfights. Check your corners and chow 2v1. Learn where your advantage is on the map, because if your communication and your map positioning is better, yes, the guns can be hot for this other side, but you can at least even that playing field by being more active on the map itself.
Yeah, it seems like there needs to be a little bit more trust between the members of Phoenix, because they're all good individually. Like, they can all shoot their gun. It's just the fact that they just aren't playing in advantageous positions to kind of enable the rest of their team to play in the positions they're used to, where they're more comfortable, where they can kind of hit a flow state. And Toronto did it excellently. Like, they let Tavi and Baru just take the slang, and Arose and Remedy just started playing objective, started playing spawns. It's kind of just like identifying who's gonna pop off when.
Yeah, and that's a big one. Who is gonna pop off when is gonna be a great question that you're gonna have to answer to and recognize it, right? Maybe making a couple of extra callouts towards a player that you're having a hard time with is always a good thing. Like, having that awareness on the map of, like, okay, who's hot right now? They're over here. Not necessarily avoiding them on the map, but putting extra emphasis on that, shutting that gun down and really shutting that player out. I think there's a lot of momentum that can be snuffed. Even if it's something as simple as, like, throwing attack before you check that corner. That player that's hot, maybe with the Dravik, is riding around this corner. Throw that attack, get some info. Is that player still there? Yes, okay. How do we play around it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when somebody's popping off in football, like a receiver's going off. It has the biggest time I've ever seen it was Megatron. They would always put 2 or 3 defenders on him, and they knew where he would go. They knew the routes he would run. Phoenix kind of needs to do the same thing to Toronto. They need to figure out where Baru's going to play, figure out where he likes to chow, and kind of set up a game plan to kind of snuff that out, and then let the other players who aren't playing that setup kind of just play their own game, and hopefully the timing works out for Phoenix.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Right now, RS is going to be resetting their game because they did have a crash that last game. So we are going to be starting the series still 1-0. Toronto obviously winning that scar, but just to avoid any further crashes, we do have a player resetting a game right now.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the reset fixes whatever caused him to crash, whatever caused him to leave. Because honestly, if it's an internet issue, it's going to be even worse. So hopefully it's just a simple reset and it fixes it.
Yeah, to go ahead and take a look over the stats that just happened to just kind of refresh my mind and give me something to talk about with you guys. I'm just looking to see. So we don't really have an accurate stat in RS's stats because the lobby drop. It did say they went 2-2, but we look over on the Toronto side, and it's going to be Biru. Biru is going to be your heavy slayer, doing the most damage in the lobby as well. 3,500, going 35-19, so just doing a really good job. Almost getting a minute of time. Arose with over 2 minutes of time, 2 minutes and 9 seconds of time. That's a lot. And still going positive as well, 18-17.
Yeah, I mean, that's just playing your life on hill, just making sure that you're soaking as much time as you can get. And obviously, like, sometimes you just get gunned out of hill from an off angle that's not covered. But if you're even playing hill because they always know where you're at, you're doing your job well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of confidence in your teammate, right? Like, if your teammates are frying and maybe you're not slaying as hot, like, being able to recognize that and being on the point and just soaking up that time while your teammates fry, that's such a big ball knowing moment, right? Like, that's how you know a baller knows ball. Is like, if they're able to recognize the position of the field and play around that, it's always a good time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if somebody's just randomly popping off, their gun's hot, you gotta, like, it doesn't matter what the pre-game, like, plan was of who was playing what. If somebody's going out there and having a 2.0 KD while y'all are up 100, you just keep letting them fry. You fill in where you need to.
Yeah, but we're going to get loaded up into this map number 2 on Raid. Search and Destroy. Toronto up 1-0 in the series, and also playing on the defensive side. We're going to hop on board with RS, the person that crashed the lobby last time. They're going to also have Bomb. They're going to be looking to plant it over to A side. Remedy gets spotted in the middle of the map, so a little bit of info coming over here from RS, and Sullivan picking up a nice 2-piece with the first blood.
Yeah, Sullivan's just watching the right angle at the right time. Remedy thinks that, or Baru thinks that he has time to get through, and then just leads to him and his teammate dying.
Yeah, Remedy going to be left up in a 1v4. So they get the first kill. Now left in a 1v3. Bomb is going to get planted. Toronto, with the crazy hot start in the hard point, is going to be looking to carry that momentum. But, I mean, it's looking like Phoenix might win this first round, which is going to be a big momentum killer here, I think, for Toronto.
Yeah, it just, Sullivan came out shooting, and it kind of counteracted everything that happened at the end of that map. As they take round 1, that's exactly what you need as Phoenix, to kind of just get one on the board, kind of see you have a kind of a lead in the map, and it just gets your morale up, gets your gunny up, because when you're feeling better, you're shooting better, and it kind of just brings back the cohesion of the team.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of this map plays out. I really enjoy this map. I think it will be interesting too to see if like Phoenix can just keep this momentum going.
Yeah, I mean, if they take another round or two here, if they win this defense, it really kind of makes Toronto think, okay, well, we have to kind of step back and run like more defensive plays on whatever side we're on. We can't just run at them and gun them.
Yes. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stopping power to those guns as well. And then we're going to be looking to see if Phoenix can win their first defense. They won the first offense. So winning both types of rounds early on in the match is always super convenient. Knowing that you're able to take an offense and a defense is super big. Yeah, that nade is going to go on through. Sullivan's going to be starting off this search and destroy really hot on another three spree, 6-1. I'm surprised they're not the ones defusing to get closer to that score streak.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the call was there. Maybe we're not on the team. We can't. I'm not going to try to decipher anything. He defused it. Wouldn't been the call I made.
Yeah, but sometimes that's confidence too. That could be like it doesn't matter moments.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, as Sullivan's kind of AFK off spawn, switching weapons. Okay, he's finally getting going. Baru just rips RS mid. I guess he wide slid.
Yeah, I think he wide slid out there. Was gonna stand over Sullivan, but Sullivan's just gonna be watching the flank in the back. And get the CV to pick up the bomb. Bomb does get picked up again after RS did drop it. Sullivan and CV now left in a 1v4. Toronto looking to take their first round in the search and destroy. Now a 1v4 situation for Phoenix, not able to get it done. And there you go, the first round on the board here for Toronto. Toronto looking decent so far.
Yeah, I mean, it was just clinical play, man advantage, don't push anything, don't scam, make them push you and plant bomb, and they executed it perfectly. It was a great round to get around on the board, but now can they follow it up with actually winning an offense? Because honestly, that was the biggest thing here, is whoever wins offense first wins the map more than likely. So we have to see if Toronto can answer with their own offensive round.
Yep, I think that's going to be super important. And speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and hop on board to Arose. Arose is going to be the person that has the bomb. It looks like they're going to hit out B side. Arose is going to take a little bit of damage. Going to try to get a cheeky nade off onto this platform there. Not able to get the nade off in the right position, or nobody there to receive the nade. There is going to be a deep flank coming from Brandon. Brandon is going to be rotating around the map, now officially in cuts, but a big first blood there from Arose, still with the bomb in hand.
Yeah, that's just really, really like worrisome, just because like you have map control. You have somebody pushed out their side almost, kind of like playing around bomb. You just need to go ahead and get that bomb down because you're just giving teammates the chance to go man up, man advantage, get bomb side control, bomb down, everything just collapse because honestly they just waited too long to plant bomb.
Yeah, they definitely waited a bit long to plant bomb there. This is honestly a pretty similar looking series as what we had last round. It appears that the team that got slammed in the hard point is looking to do the slamming in the search and destroy. So far this could turn out to be an interesting series.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't expect Phoenix to come out and start, like Sullivan especially, just start slamming. Like, six kills in 2 rounds, back-to-back 3 pieces, like that's just hard momentum shift and makes it hard for Toronto to get anything going.
Yeah, it's going to be super hard for Toronto to get anything going, especially when Tavi has a big donut about halfway through the game now. So we're going to hop on board with Tavi, see if they can eat that donut and at least turn it into a breadstick.
Yeah, I mean, Olive Garden breadsticks are, at least in my opinion, better than donuts.
Ooh, I don't know. I like cake donuts. Depends on the time of day. Depends on the time of day.
There's certain ones, like blueberry cake donuts is my go-to, but overall, the breadsticks are better.
Overall, the breadstick. Okay, that's valid.
Tavi hits a crazy flank and finally gets his first kill on the board. He's left in a 1v1 against Hybrid. Does Hybrid know that bomb's down? He's just playing outer laundry, going outer ring. Tavi's playing it though. Does he win the gunfight? Hybrid picks up bomb.
Oh, that nade almost kills. Flak jacket though. Probably gets spotted up top. Only 30 seconds left. Tavi looking to clutch a 1v1. I think this is a big momentum shifting 1v1. You either bring the game super, super close or it seems a bit too far out of grasp. But you're going to have to check the rotation. Tavi wins the big one-on-one in Zig.
Why is Hybrid sprinting down through P5, through mid, into Zig? Like, that was the most... Like, that's the last one. Like, honestly, I saw maybe a wrap through back laundry plant B, or maybe a wrap through, like, mid to retake A control through art.
Yeah,
but, like, not just running straight down driveways.
Yeah, you gotta have your gun up. You gotta be ready to go for that gunfight. You know that player is in art. You know they're gonna be possibly checking that. You took a long time to get there. So unfortunate play there from Brandon. However, momentum possibly swinging over. I mean, that's a big 1v1. When you win a 1v1 like that, you do get a little bit of ego and you're ready to chow a bit more.
Yeah, it just gets you the confidence and just shoot your gun straighter because you clutched up, like the heart rate's going. Like once it happens in the map, like it kind of gets easier in the other moments. So like the fact that he won that one's kind of huge for Toronto right now.
Yeah, Rose gonna be pushed up over towards this laundry side. Looking to get first blood. Nobody has died yet. Only about 45 seconds left in the round to go. So we're about halfway through the round. A big first blood from Remedy. Rose able to pick up a kill. Brandon, though, able to pick up Remedy. Brandon and CV left in a 2v3. Bomb still in the hand of a Rose. Still hasn't gone down yet. Looking to plant on A now.
Yeah, see, this is just another moment because you had 3 of the members of Phoenix trapped back like laundry with 2 guns on it, and a Rose pushes window there. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because you're up in the round now, but Hybrid's looking to get one out of ring. I mean, where is his teammate at? The reinforcement is so slow, and he dies before CV can really get an angle, and then he doesn't.
Yeah, not really getting a lot of help there. And that round is going to go over to Toronto, tying up the game now 3-3. Looking to go up 2-0 in the series as well. A lot of pressure on Phoenix to kind of try to close this out. They had the lead early on. They're switching sides now. I think you just got to get faster on the reactions. I feel like you're getting info, but maybe not getting the help you need with that info.
Yeah, it's just also, like, I think Toronto, just the way that their setups have been the last few rounds, they're definitely adjusting mid-game a lot better than Phoenix, because Phoenix a lot of similar stuff that round, like back-to-back offenses. So it's one of those things where, like, as Phoenix, you have to adjust now. As we see, just 3 go down, a 1v1.
Yeah, and just like that, Toronto takes the lead. I mean, so this is going to be a first lead change that we see in the Search and Destroy, and this can get away from you now if you're Phoenix. Pressure is on. You got to turn on those burners a little bit. You got to put it into overdrive and start taking these rounds.
Yeah, it's just the game plan's got to shift. Like, if they just start running again. Like, honestly, here on defense, though, like, they need to realize that a Rose pushes up with bomb. As a Rose has bomb again, I get, like, if an adjustment's not made here, it's going to be bad for them.
Some bullets flying through the wall into that zigzag area as a Rose is trying to spot a lane that is open to push his bomb. Teammate's going to be falling right next to him. RS taking out Biru. Rose picks up the AR off the ground, able to put a couple of shots into that. Who is this? Tavi is going to be in an interesting position to get put up. It's going to be chilling on B. I bet they wish they had bomb. I'm going to hop on board with them as they play a little bit of an angle. Are they going to get spotted out? They do the spotting. Tavi's going to get caught off guard here by RS if they don't get a move on, and here comes the kill. Just like that, a lot of momentum shifts now for Remedy and a Rose. Now they're down. Remedy left in a 1v4. This was kind of a tough round to watch if you're a Toronto fan. There is definitely moments there where they could have gotten at least a trade.
Yeah, it's just the reinforcements wasn't there fast enough. They weren't watching the right angles. Phoenix just made the adjustments like I said they needed to. They played a little bit different off angles, kind of played a little bit different pacing, and it kind of just tripped up Toronto, and they just died one after one.
Yeah, I mean, pretty steady kills there from Phoenix. Phoenix doing a really job keeping composure in that round, tying up the map, keeping it at least a close game. Who are we looking to hop on board with? Sullivan. We haven't showed them much love just yet. Sullivan 8-5 in this. We weren't really able to show them too much love in the hardpoint. The hardpoint was a little bit scuffed on Scar for them, but now a lot of momentum. A fast A hit. They got to do it. They got to do it quick. Don't allow these Toronto players to get their footing on the ground. And just like that, they do get the first blood. A Rose fall on the CV there.
Yeah, Sullivan's just pushing back in a huge position here. Number 7 Remedy, just they rip to making it a 2v3, switching the numbers in their favor. And there's no way this guy back jungle didn't get called out. They're sprinting at him with bomb and it works. Puts it into 1v2. They get the trade.
Gets one. Looking for the other. Jumps out of cover maybe a bit too fast. Oh, my goodness. Phoenix with an early first blood taking over that A site. Never really capitalized on it. It's going to be Toronto that ends up taking that round with a couple of staggered kills and getting on top of the map.
I mean, they say the route man gets paid, and number 7 Remedy that round got paid with making them have to push through Laundry because they were too afraid to be able to go through mid because there was a gun on them.
And now this could be a very dangerous situation now for Phoenix. Phoenix do not want to lose this round. They do not want to go down 0-2 in the series. We have seen in the LSL our first reverse sweep of the year that came in the form of Boston and Minnesota. However, you don't want that type of pressure. That is not something that you want to try to do. A Rose with this bomb. Remedy getting first blood again, going 10-8. A Rose getting this bomb down. Remedy going to be overlooking them in this bedroom side. Who's that number 3 arrow? That's going to be Sullivan. Sullivan looking to possibly get a kill from mid. I'm going to hop on board with Sullivan. I mean, these arrows, for a second there, they were looking pretty good for Phoenix, but they're still not able to get a kill. Brandon able to pick up Tavi as well. I mean, 2v2. They got to push this fast, though. Time's going to be flying down.
Yeah, like you were saying, like, the map there looked so good for Phoenix, like pre-plant and right after, like, plant. And they get the kill, but they let Toronto just back up to bedroom. and it honestly just gives them the ultimate setup because you don't have to worry about basketball because you plan it safe. The only thing that happens there is whoever was Sullivan who hit mid, he has to hit that faster because that's really the only point of failure in that setup is trying to make it to where, like, you just get them pushing back to bedroom for mid water steps.
Yeah, that's tough. There was definitely a few moments there. Like you said, the arrows did look good for Phoenix. Phoenix did have map control at some points, but it feels like they would get a first blood and kind of fold. I feel like the info that Toronto had felt more valuable. I felt like their teammates were able to react to that info maybe a little bit better and just get a couple of better angles for some kills.
Oh yeah, their initial pre-setup like 4v4 just hitting off first round was great. Mid round and on, besides those first few rounds where Sullivan was just going crazy, Toronto had the better mid like round adjustments and like just flowed with the map better, and it allowed them to kind of gain some traction and come back to win this map.
Yeah, I mean, what adjustments are you going to see in the overload here? It's looking pretty nervous here for Phoenix. I mean, we've seen a respawn already. We know what the pacing on the respawn can be. It can be very heavy flowing in favor of this Toronto squad. What do you think Phoenix needs to do to win this overload?
They need to play more team-oriented COD. And when I say that, it's just like play at each other's hips, like especially in Overload, like don't let the bomb carrier go first. Like just do the good fundamental COD things while playing like closer and tighter with your team. Because that's what won Toronto map 1 so convincingly, is because trade after trade after trade, Toronto was just winning them all because their setups and they were just a lot tighter, a lot just better setups, and that's what we need to see out of Phoenix to be able to see a win from them in this overload.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix has got to have their communication on point. I think overload with a roaming objective is a very good example of great communication. I feel like control, obviously you had to have really good communication, but I think the break in between rounds allowed for a lot of playmaking to happen. But now you only have the half. You're either tied, down, or up. You only really have 3 strategies to create rather than an offense and defense, what feels like every minute and a half. So now your strategy and your playmaking has to be on the fly. It basically goes from American football to soccer, where possession's constantly changing. There needs to be a flow on the map. You got to see plays further ahead. So you'll basically see, I would like to use a soccer reference as wingers running down the sides, right? Getting the ball forward, allowing your striker to move up on the map and have as little effort as possible in order to score this goal. And I just think that Toronto have better use of info. And I think I've been saying that a lot lately, I feel like this past week. And what that means to me is it's basically a quick time event, right? As soon as you receive info, you have to hit the right button or the right movement at the right time to get that kill, get the assist, do what you got to do to get the score. And like, how do you think this map's going to go? We're going into a Scar. We've seen Scar before. Do you think Toronto is the clear favorite here, or do you think Phoenix is just kind of like, are they ramping up? Do they have potential?
I don't think so. No, I honestly, the way that Toronto plays, they're so team oriented and they have the chemistry. You could already see, probably if you were listening to their comms, there's stuff that each other's looking at and they know what's being covered and what's not being covered without having to clutter the comms. And that's one of the big things at Overload is there's a lot of info out there, but you have to pick what info you want to take, because that would lead you to like, oh, hey, they're heavy B side. I need to wrap through mid to go A. And if there's a lot of nonsense chatter going on in the comms, then it kind of maybe makes you think that something's open when it's not.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get loaded into the overload on Scar right now. Bureau with a little bit of stick drift, man. Get that fixed.
I mean, we need to turn up them dead zones a little bit.
Yeah, just by one at least. Holy moly. No,
yeah, that was...
Hey, if they can play with it, they can play with it. They look like they're doing an okay job tonight. Tavi gonna be last alive for their team though, right away. Gonna be just kind of hiding in the middle. I'm excited to watch this map. I really like Scarverload. I think it's one of the more even maps when it comes to good side, bad side. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities on both sides of the map to score.
It's really just getting an AR into like a good position on a Godheady to watch over their spawn point from which side you want to hit. So like on this side, you would want somebody to get on tank to watch back blue. And so it's one of those things where if you can get that, then yeah, either side is perfect. But if you're not getting into those power positions, it's really hard to score.
Yeah, right now Toronto trying to get the number 4. Tavi left alive again. So far, so good from Phoenix. Phoenix doing a really good job on this on that defensive side. They now have possession of the EMP, trying to work their way up on the map. CV is gonna just kind of pull back, gonna rotate all the way around back, let your teammates spawn. You don't want to die too deep here. Is your teammates there to help?
I just think there's too many Toronto there. Like RS comes, hopefully can get top blue. He kills bomb, and they just kind of clear.
Yeah, this is an interesting gunfight there. Yeah, that was interesting there. I don't know, man. Was that the right play? I mean, waiting for your teammates always feels like to be the right play, but I feel like for you to initiate the gunfight with the pistol might not have been the best thing going.
Like honestly, he should have gone top blue there. Like P4 right there is such a hard hill to even like hold just people flag challenging you in camera, and especially doing with that with a pistol. And the Rose is just sitting in goal, just spawning, like, they're just running it black blue. Like, a Rose 8 and 4 on a 5 spree, they can just not get him out of their spawn.
Yeah, Rose is going to spawn them in a split spawn, 2 on P3, 2 on P2. This device is going to spawn on P2 side with the arrows looking up. I mean, honestly, a Rose probably could have taken it there and made some decent ground on the map. Maybe not be able to get the B in time, but at least be annoying and draw these players back. But they're going to end up falling towards the middle of the map. Hotel side is still where the CMP devices spawn up. And a little bit of map control now. RS going to be trying to get in a little bit of it. But no, everyone's falling for this Phoenix side before I can even swap to their POVs.
Yeah, it's just super hard to push P2 red side without an AR. Just running into gunfire. Like, you have to wait for an AR there and decide to push it or something where you can be a cruddy in store. As we see, Hybrid just sees one store, one goes plain. Can he cut this off, or is Toronto going to wrap it back? It just looks like a 4-man hit through P3.
I like the confidence here on the P3 hit. I do like the confidence. You've been able to do it a few times. Remedy is eventually going to get taken out. A Rose is going to be your your forward person here on this side of the map. Going to be chilling basically in P3.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the scoreboard here, I wouldn't think Toronto would be up 0-2. Remedy is having a really tough map, but I mean, it doesn't matter when you have multiple people on your team going double positive, just winning gunfights. As I say that, they lose 3 to your red side. And nobody picks up on them.
Yeah, we're starting to see more and more of these gunfights go over towards the enemy side. So you got to be a little bit nervous here if you're Toronto. You haven't really made any ground on the map. You've kind of ran into stone walls. Luckily, you've been able to score twice first before you've gotten to this point. So I'll be curious to see who. I mean, I feel like this EMP is going to be stuck on the P2 side for the rest of the round.
Yeah, I mean, every time that Phoenix gets a few down and tries to push forward, like, they never grab bomb. There's never enough people there to, like, push out and grab bomb and have somebody look over, and they just run into the guns of Toronto on that B, and they just constantly die.
Yeah, I mean, it's you got to get some sort of map control there, and I think just having possession of the EMP already puts some pressure on the players of Toronto, because they now have to pay attention to an extra dot on the map. Essentially, they have to try to figure out where you're going. That kill icons popping in and out. Oh, the wall bang was absolutely insane. Oh no.
Oh. Kind of just him, Rose, and Tavi just taking over, and Remedy ran a bomb in. He's looking a little better now, 7 and 12.
There you go.
Rips top red. Like, the guy he's there, he has to play better timings and better positions.
Yeah, and you're going to see Phoenix try to extend that time, but it is going to roll over into the half now. This map one looking. I mean, this map 3 is looking pretty wild. I mean, that first half, they were able to get 2 for plants. However, I would say Phoenix did look better on the second half of the first half. I think they were able to keep that EMP device stuck in P2, but they weren't able to make ground off of it. And I think that's going to be important going forward.
Like, honestly, there's somebody on Phoenix who just needs to be the go guy. Like, if they say go, if they're pushed up and they have a lane, whoever's closest to bomb needs to run it. Because at this point, they're getting positioning and they're pushing out, and they're not really doing anything with the positioning around the bomb that they get because they had a few down.
Yeah, we're going to hop on board CV now as they try to take control of the middle of the map. New half, new me, am I right? Let's try to get these coins rolling. You can get steamrolled. You played a 4 on the first half. However, you can get all the way up to 8 on the second. So it's not done and dusted just yet. Phoenix does have some comeback potential that they need to unlock here. You need to pull that out of your brain. You figure it out. You need to see the code.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to get any map positioning when you're 4-banging mid, when you have members of Toronto hitting through like green side, plain side, and also through red. And so it's kind of, they need to spread out a little bit. When I said play like tighter, I didn't mean everybody together.
Yeah, and as we're talking about that, Toronto is going to go ahead and slide in another EMP. Yeah, I think there's a misconception on playing together, right? And you just brought this up. Playing together doesn't necessarily mean you need to hold hands. Sometimes it's getting an angle, like getting a couple of bullets in on a player before the other player takes them out. Like, it's really working together to cover up maybe areas of the map through vision, not necessarily through body space.
Yeah, it's more of just don't all pull the same angle, but you can look at the same spot. Like 2 people looking at mid cut just on this map for instance, like 2 people looking at mid cut, one from concrete wall, one from store is a great play, but you want to have 2 at store in that middle when somebody's on a head glitch.
Yeah, and just like that, everybody from Phoenix basically getting wiped out. They are going to keep spawning over towards that green side. That green side is the sticky spawn, so you're going to see players like Brandon going to get locked into a 1v2 CV. Not the last alive. Who's that? Oh, no. This can't go in, right? Okay.
There's no way this goes in.
Yeah, this can't go in, but it's gonna. No, it's not.
Oh, it gets dropped.
Okay.
Phoenix would be really smart here to push out. No, we let that bomb reset. It's just like in uplink. When you didn't have good bomb positioning, you just needed to let it reset and play around the reset. Them grabbing it here gives Toronto so much more leverage on the map because they know exactly where they are, exactly where we're coming, and we see it in the kill feed. Phoenix gets wiped, drops bomb, and Toronto has map control again.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to determine, though. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to kind of get. They're down 0-3, right? So in their heads, they're gonna have pressure. We need to get this EMP going. We need to get it going now. We need to score. So I think the player naturally is gonna pick it up. But I think, yeah, like you said, I focus on map control. Map control is your number 1 focus, and with or without the EMP, if you can swipe it up on the way, I think you can get map control without having to pick up that EMP right away.
Yeah, I definitely, like, it could have been a situation where 3 get map control and the last person off spawn want to grab that bomb, but, like, grabbing it off rip and then having 3 people with the bomb at the same time is a really hard position to even get through the blue side. You see Tavi gets 1, slides away from Plane. Plane's bomb carrier by himself. Can Toronto, can Remedy and Tavi, like, stop this push, or...
Yeah, with the way this Toronto defense is set up, you've wasted a lot of time. Even if you get scored on right here, you still got to look at this as kind of like a positive exchange, because it took them how long to get this first point in. And now there's only 55 seconds left in this map, and you need to run 2 in. It's taken you, what, 6 minutes to get one in. You got to start turning these burners on, get people up on the map. RS is trying to do just that. Ooh, able to get a nice headshot off that player. Is going to get traded out though. And this is a chance. This is a moment right now where they do have a little bit of map control. You are getting traded. I like it. Sullivan doing exactly what we were just talking about, but with only 26 seconds left, 25 seconds left, it's going to be pretty much impossible.
Statistically impossible.
Yep.
Because it takes 10 seconds to reset the device.
Yeah, that stinks. Just as they were starting to get some slays, it feels like time just runs out.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate ending to a series, but hopefully Phoenix can like review some VOD, look it back, and use this to be better in another match. Because like Toronto's not a bad team. Toronto has 3 really good gunnies. It makes it really just like the best idea for them is to be like, how could we have played as a team better to counteract this ability that Toronto had?
Yeah, I mean, and Toronto was just putting on a clinic. They did a really good job with their map control. I enjoyed watching them play tonight. It was definitely a lot of fun. And as this series gets wrapped up, it looks like someone did leave lobby. Great, thanks. We're not gonna get your stats now. I mean, who do you? I think I'm voting for Biru for probably MVP there.
Yeah, I would have to agree. The dominance in map 1 with the fact that he was just a full force when Toronto got pushed up on map 3, and he was a lot of the reason they had a lot of map control where they could slide those 2 early ones in, him and a Rose, but it has to be Biru.
Yeah, Biru doing a really good job. I mean, honestly, Toronto was just a stone wall tonight, winning the series 3-0. Pretty comfortable on the Scar. Dicey at times on the raid. I feel like the earlier rounds, I feel like Phoenix did play the Search and Destroy significantly better than they played the respawns, but then back on Scar, right? Back on the map you started on, and you already had a rep on it, so...
I just think that Toronto got a better map set. Like, they did the vetoes better, because knowing how Toronto plays with the players that they had, just because I've known them for a while, Scar would be their playground.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get Biru. I'm going to toss him into the call right now. Yo! What's up? How you doing? They pulled him back. Wasn't ready?
They weren't ready.
Get him in here.
I want to talk to this man right now.
I'm pulling him in. I don't care what he's doing. But yeah, we're just waiting for the Biru interview. But yeah, no, it was super fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto just was the better practice team. You could see it in the gameplay. Yeah. There's a lot of positives to take out of it from Phoenix. In the S&D especially, you need to let Sullivan do whatever that he wants.
We're going deep and we're going hard.
What's up, Biru?
Baru?
Yo, what's up, boys? What's up?
How you doing?
Chilling like a villain, you know?
How we feeling, though? How'd the game go for you?
Bro, just as I expected, dude. It's AR Baru, dude. What you mean? Holy fuck. This is no sub Baru. This is no joke.
I'm glad they put you back on the AR. That sub Baru for that little bit, that was faded.
Dude, I was playing upside down that whole game, bro. I was chilling.
So you're saying it was easy? Is that what you're saying?
100%, dude.
Do you feel like there was a little bit of risk there on the raid and the Search and Destroy, or was it just getting comfortable on the map?
Nah, I think we were trolling a little bit. Like, I made, like a couple, like, shitty play calls and shit, but, teammates stepped up and got the fucking job done, dude. They were shooting, so good job on them.
Yeah, good strong start to the season. Is there anyone that you're looking forward to play this season?
Oh, yeah, my boys, Colorado, dude.
Oh, so you want Colorado blood, huh?
Hell yeah, bro.
How do you feel? How do you feel about that Jaded trade?
I need to know. I need to let Remarks know that the AR Baru is a little different than the sub Baru. So I'm gonna have to put him on a little quick little tutorial.
Baru, does wanting to play Colorado change any now that Jaded got traded for Wicked?
No, I'm not scared of gamer tags, dude. I'll play anybody, bro.
That's what we love to hear.
Yeah, it looks like you have to wait until January 21st.
Hell no, dude. I'll play them right now. Sub them in. Let's go.
Sub them in is crazy.
Let's get it.
But it was really fun watching you guys tonight. You guys look super, super comfortable, especially in the respawns. I mean, how's the practice looking like? It feels like your guys' communication's on lock. I feel like you guys have a pretty firm grasp on like what to do on the map, and it was pretty fun to watch from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of our scrims that we've had lately have not really been like with our like starting four. Like we've been kind of mixing up the roster and like trying to figure out like positions and like roles and shit like that. So the scrims, I mean, have been a little rough, but once we kind of locked in like certain situations, I mean, as you've seen in the first hard point, I mean, holy fuck, anybody that came in my line of sights was just getting fucking fried, dude.
So with the preseason rankings coming out, Baru, like, how do you feel being? Do you think you're like underrated, or do you think like what's your thoughts on that being like one of the lower ranked teams?
I don't care where they put me on the list. I don't care. At the end of the season, they're gonna see. That's all that matters. At the end of the season, they're gonna see.
Well, we will just have to see about that. But I got one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything to say to the people who might have, hated on you when you were sub Baru? Now that you kind of go back into form.
I hated on myself when I was sub Baru, man. I was trying to do something that wasn't really in like the grasp. Like I was AR Baru forever. And this game, I really loved like how the sub like played out, and it's just the sub routes just weren't imprinted in my brain. Like everything that I tried to do was realistically like an AR situation, and it was just bad, bro. It was just bad for me. So
all right, well, we'll let you get back to your team to celebrate. Congratulations on the win. Hot 3-0 and a handshake. Get the end of my night early, dude. Whatever. Anyone to watch more COD anyway, dude.
GG's, boys.
All right, have a good night.
Have a good one, Baru.
All right, Magni, it's going to get close to that time of the show next week. Our next match is going to be January 12th, Ohio Scarlet versus Boston Brigade. And then following that up in our doubleheader, we're going to have Seattle Legion versus Minnesota Mist. That's actually the match I really want to watch next week. I feel like both of those teams kind of struggled in similar ways. But yeah, do you have any shout-outs, anybody that you want to thank before we kick the stream off?
I just want to thank Dreamer. This man just wanted to put me into casting so many times, and it finally happened. It was a blast. I want to thank everybody out there. Just like without y'all watching, there is no reason for us to stream, no reason for us to cast, not really any reason for us to give any production to a Call of Duty platform. So just thank y'all for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And I was rounding out. Want to say something very similar. Thank you guys. Thank you to the league. The viewers, the players, especially being able to put on the show. Obviously, like the fans are here to watch, but the players, man, we need something to watch, and they do a good job putting on a show for us. But yeah, we're gonna call it a night. It was ended up in a hot 3 on a handshake. First series of the night. Just a quick little recap. We have Raleigh winning 3-1, and then Toronto taking the next series 3-0. Congratulations on those teams. We will see you guys next week. I will see you guys in some of the CDL chat. I'm about to go live as well, talking about some of these matches, and I'll see you guys next week.
Y'all have a good night. Bye.